Nigeria's tropical climate is usually hot and humid, but scientists predict the temperature will get hotter and hotter. This could mean an increase in flooding and less rain for farmers to grow crops. The weather pattern will be so unpredictable that sometimes there will be a torrential rainfall and at other times a drought. The worst part is that human activities such as cutting down trees for firewood and exhaust fumes from cars are contributing to the problem. Burning these materials releases greenhouse gases to the Earth's atmosphere.
You have so many consequences, but in varying in areas of industrial release, greenhouse emissions, you see. But within this our zone, primarily deforestation is the major cause, but the government is not taking note of it. If you assess the number of trailers, the number of pickups that transport charcoal from the suburbs to the city, you will know that deforestation is going on massively uncontrolled. And of course, you know that we are talking of forest is a sink, the highest sink for carbon fixation and so on. So when they are removed, then of course, you know that the earth is exposed to direct rays. Consequently, you see we have extreme temperatures because there's no other control. We have carbon dioxide more than oxygen. We have heat, humidity will be high, we have everything. So this is because of deforestation.
A large percentage of Nigeria's economy is driven by unfriendly climate change activities. As the world launches a campaign against global warming, how will Nigeria contribute to reduce greenhouse gases to meet the net zero target? Dorcas Daniel is a petty trader. To earn her daily bread, she uses firewood. Experts say the smoke from firewood is a disaster for the climate.
This is a state and come to us to get money. So you can't do that. Even me, as for my own house, I'm using this to cook. The fire is much faster than the others. Other gas is not faster than this. Some of customers, when they are coming, they will come and stand waiting for yam so that we're done before they eat. Some people, they will not like to wait because they are very, very hungry. So I'm using this and I like this one.
She is just one out of many traders who depend on firewood to survive. Since the first global climate conference in Geneva in 1979, world leaders have been meeting to agree on how to reduce their carbon footprint. How much is Nigeria doing to mitigate greenhouse gas emission, and what will be the future of business owners like Dorcas? Marcos Udoko is a climate change expert. He's worried about the increasing levels of pollution in Abuja. The degradation of green areas is a cause for great concern.
Wherever this water is coming from actually is coming over land, and the land are exposed. And that is the clear evidence that the green area is depleted, is degraded to a large extent. If you go to a climb or areas where they manage their environment properly, you discover that the water bodies during rain don't come brownish because they are covered by vegetation that prevents so much siltation, picking up of soil, which is as a result of degradation or denudation, agent of denudation. Water picks up the water and takes to the river as silt. and naturally it disturbs the ecosystem. The aquatic system is degraded. With desiltation, there is high reduction of oxygen for the aquatic organism to survive on. It's possible it can reduce their breeding characteristics, and they may not be productive as they should.
Although when the decision to establish a new capital city for Nigeria was taken in 1976, the founding fathers only thought of a city beautiful, according to a researcher Ibrahim Usman Jibrin. So the consideration of carbon sink to mitigate climate crisis did not arise.
Though in Abuja there are not much industry, we have small scale industries. Though these don't contribute much to greenhouse gases, but the land use change. We have areas where the natural ecosystem is being changed for other uses, like including of residential houses, administrative, and other uses. All these have changed or have replaced the natural ecosystem with impervious surfaces. And when I say impervious surfaces, these are surfaces that are hard. And when a surface is hard, it will be difficult to sink water when there is rainfall. At the end of the day, you see flash floods, like what happened in a Trademore estate recently. Yes, this is as a result of land use change. And land use change, all this contributes to climate change.
What can the federal capital do to mitigate climate change? On several occasions, the country has had its fair share of climate disasters. The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology say they are solution-driven. There are currently 22 mitigation and adaptation measures to be implemented.
With that National Technology Action Plan, Nigeria has gotten a roadmap for tackling climate change, mitigation, and adaptation. There are also other plans that address issues of climate change, mitigation, and adaptation approved by the Federal Executive Council. So with that 22 mitigation measures, with responsibilities we are also shared in that plan. The ministry has responsibility under the 13th measure to reduce methane emission by 50% under the SDGs by 2030. Okay? So with that, we came up with a technological solution called waste dump technology. That technology is focused on waste dump. So once you site that technology at a waste dump, it has capacity to reclaim the land. It will treat the mixed waste. It will handle the recycling, all the recyclables. And then it will also handle the solid ones which you can remove. And then we now take the mixed waste dump and treat it. You get your biogas, you get your gas, which you can use for electricity generation. And also you get your biofertilizer. And of course, don't forget that when you reclaim the land, it is not safe to start planting or farming in that place. So it can be a green area for a while because you have heavy metals. And that is actually the cause of the increasing cancer cases in Nigeria, you recall. So that's another technology the ministry has come up with.
Environmental pollution negatively affects the climate, as businesses take advantage of public materials due to their durability. Do the economic benefit outweigh the disadvantage of plastic pollution?
We have more than 100 of this place in Abuja. In this place alone, I think every day we recycle nothing less than 10 metric tons every day. That's 10,000 kg. 1,000 kg is 1 ton, 1 metric ton. And we recycle up to 10,000 kg here every day. So you can see how helpful the business is, even to the society. And those are those that are doing it also. If all these things are there without anybody attending or packing them, I know at the end people will try and gather them, just burn them. By doing so, it will pollute the weather. We have different recycle, like this and bottled water. If you can check there, it's different than this, and this is also different from this. So it's department by department, and all those departments will have people that they are working there and in their daily needs.
Dr. Ekwazo considers agricultural runoff to be the biggest greenhouse gas emitters in Nigeria, superseding the oil and gas industry. But how true is his assertion given the level of post-harvest loss and land use factors?
3/4 of what you produce in the farm does not get to the market. So if it doesn't get to the market, it means it's wasted. And if it's wasted, it's contributing to global warming. So as a result of all land use activities through human interaction, it was found out that it's contributing to global warming more than oil and gas. And of course, you know, the type of farming in Nigeria is still not heavily mechanized. So you have so many people involved in farming, and the method of farming has not been mechanized. So all these activities, these are human activities that are contributing to the global warming. So all these activities sum up to what you have as the huge amount of global greenhouse gases coming from that sector.
We're meeting a farmer to help us understand why this could be a factor.
Well, naturally, nobody produces anything, even giving room for a certain percentage to be lost anyway. But when we were constrained, and farmers would be glad if he can consume 100% of what he or she produces. If he or she does not do that, he or she also extend to other people of the family, to the entire committee, and at a point he needs to sell them to recover some money to make him prepare for other seasons. But what we are saying is that the fact that we have capacity limitation in terms of, I'm referring to those of us who are farmers and not being supported effectively by our academics and the government. Otherwise, I see no reason and also industrialists. If I produce a cashew, mangoes that are fresh, I have taken the ones I need to eat. Under normal circumstances, they are not supposed to go into losses. They're supposed to go into industry for further processing, or there's supposed to be some chemicals, how do I call it now, some things that must have been made available for us to preserve some of these things, either by way of refrigeration, by way of chemicalizing them, so long as they are safe anyway, and other ways. But if this is not done and the farmer is left, the next thing after taking what he eats in the first one or 2 days, the remaining ones are left to waste. Then it's unfortunate. So if these practices continue, it has many effects. It will rob the whole of our economic powers in what we expect to aim from our cropping, and to also not be good generally. It's something of negative effect.
What should farmers do differently to improve the ecosystem? In the Federal Capital Territory, agriculture is key. But due to the unavailability of agricultural space, some farmers have taken drastic measures which could lead to erosion.
There would be the whole issue about land use planning is for the Capital Territory authorities to ensure that those activities are done in a way that does not compromise the quality of water, if that water is potable, or does not obstruct the flow of the waterway of the water. It is blocking, if they're cultivating where they want me to cultivate, like if they engage in sand filling so as to extend the area that they have for planting crops. But if they're just having their vegetable gardens beside near close to the rivers, what the Ministry of Agriculture could help by sending station officers to advise them on the best way to utilize that land, and to ensure that they are not doing illegal activities that are creating difficulties or problems for the environment and for the people.
Every individual has a carbon footprint, and the amount of gas emitted into the atmosphere, if not controlled, can have a devastating impact on humanity.
The green area, actually, ab initio, was created for beautification, for good scenery, but in the event of climate change, we need to refocus on green areas. Green areas are the natural sink. They provide ecological services of carbon sink. They control erosion. If you have green area and it rains, it helps infiltration and prevents excessive runoff that could lead to flooding. And the beauty of it is there, the aesthetic part of it. But the climate change is very, very urgent, and we need to work towards mitigating it. The green areas in Abuja function perfectly as the natural sink, and therefore we should do whatever we can to make it more functional and sustainable. The ecological function, which is the carbon sink, should be prioritized, and that is why we are talking about this. The enlightenment, even the managers of the park should be aware that this park shouldn't be run just for the benefit or economic benefit. It should be run because it has a lot of ecological function. It helps us to mitigate climate change. In fact, this is part of the climate action that is required by most countries. So this green area is very, very indispensable as far as climate action is concerned.
The fight for the planet's safety is not just a responsibility of government. Individuals need to control the amount of carbon they emit. Like littering the streets with trash, people must dispose waste properly to help reduce greenhouse gases into the atmosphere.
Like the central area, for example, a lot is being done. People also, some areas, they properly dispose their waste. But these area councils around, like Gwagwalada, like Buhari, like Kuje, the waste disposal system there is very poor. If you go around, you don't see places that you are supposed to see dustbin. There are no dustbin. Places that you are supposed to see incinerators to, let's say, combust some of this waste that are collected, they are not there. Dustbin, you see bowlers around, you see scavengers collecting, and so this waste disposal we're talking of now, at the end of the day, issue of disease, vectors, and so on and so forth. You see, at the end of the day, this bin you are seeing emit gases. They emit gases. They can even serve as hiding place for vectors, breeding ground for mosquitoes that causes malaria. And so at the end of the day, the waste management system is poor and really is affecting those areas that are not observing the proper disposal of waste.
The lake actually looks not properly managed as a result of waste is not properly maintained. The grasses are all degraded. You see animal droppings everywhere, which contributes to pollution itself. And you can think about the methane that is emitted from animal dung. It's part of the climate change, and we are emitting so much into the atmosphere. We need to get effective management that will be multi-layered and bring in all stakeholders that are supposed to look at this thing to conform to an international standard. We have it. We can search for it and apply and make it come up like any other park. We can strive to make this park become recognized by IUCN, which is the global body for, giving certification to a park that can be recognized internationally.
However, for people like Dorcas Daniel, who rely on firewood for survival, what can the government do to provide an alternative?
If government leaves this uncontrolled deforestation going on presently in our locality in the southern savannah, southern Guinea savannah, where we are now, of course, desertification is key in this area, and the consequences will be very serious. We have not experienced earthquake, we have not experienced erosion. These will be manifest landslides. These are as a result of effect of deforestation. I put up an article. Yes, there is no work for graduates. There is no work, and people must look for a living. That's why you see mass movement in the production of charcoal, because it's going market as a result of high price of fuel, high price of gas, high price of kerosene. So people resort to alternative means, and alternative means is charcoal and firewood. And of course, the bulkiness of firewood, the problems associated with carrying firewood, charcoal has taken over. It's simple to carry, it's simple to use. So you see people now resorting to use of charcoal. And of course, if government will be able to reduce or make available at a cheaper rate kerosene, gas, you see people, nobody would like to suffer itself trying to go and wash your pot, this because of charcoal problems. You will see deforestation drastically reduced.
Throughout the history of mankind, the climate has changed continuously. When it happens naturally, climate change is a slow process. It usually takes place over hundreds and thousands of years. But the current human-influenced climate change is happening at a much faster rate. This is definitely cause for concern for all human beings.